All right, guys, welcome back to the Adoptology podcast. I hope you guys really enjoyed the first two episodes. Now, this is the third one. Hopefully, this one is even better. Today, we're going to talk about the savior identity. Some kids feel like they've been rescued or they've been lucky. Like I get a lot of comments in my TikToks and Instagrams and Facebook. Oh my God, you're so lucky. I get a lot of DMs. You're so lucky you were adopted. You're so lucky. But the way they asked me to be in this, the way I got into this family, they came up to me and asked me to be a part of my family. I remember I was in the orphanage at how old was I? 6. I was 6. I was playing around. They pulled me to the side. They were like, Wilson, would you like to be part of our family? And I said yes. It felt like an invitation, and it felt like I was just being plucked out. And so, what do you guys think about this topic, and what do you think it needs to be talked about?
Well, you're right. That's very true. That is how much it happened. Well, let me just start off by saying when we first started going to the orphanage, right? We had no intention of adopting. We were just going to help. We wanted to be a part of the adoption. We wanted to be part of the orphanage and the ministry that they had in Haiti. We were very drawn to it. We have a lot of friends in our life that were adopting either from that orphanage or around the world. So we were surrounded with adoption. But I didn't think it was for us. I didn't think we could afford it. I felt called to help people, like to help our friends adopting or to be a part of their lives. And then at that time, I started helping the orphanage director with adoption matches. And I said, this cute little Wilson boy, like he hasn't been adopted yet. We got to find him a family. And Pierre said, I think you should pray about it. And I said, oh, I think not. We're just called to help. And so I told your dad, and I said, Pierre said we should pray about it. I guess we should pray about it. And so you didn't know any of that. So all this was before we even started talking to you. And so we started praying about it, and we really felt like, yeah. I mean, we didn't know how we were going to do it, what it looked like. More importantly, how we're going to afford it. We couldn't even, we were having a hard time even just making ends meet then. And so how are we going to feed another kid? What are we going to do? And so we had kind of already got that ball rolling a little bit with Pierre, but that's when
I had pulled you aside, just like you said, in the orphanage, and I was working on some construction projects, and I pulled you into the tool shed and asked you if I could be your papa, and you said yes.
I do remember.
And then we walked out and talked to Mama at that same time, and kind of cried a little bit, and we're excited together at the same time.
Yeah, and then I pulled you into the bathroom and talked to you again to make sure you're okay, and you're like, yes.
Yeah, hold on, let me scoot this. There we go. Perfect. But yeah, I do remember that. So, hold on, let's keep moving on. You talked about what led to the adopting me, the process, like the question building up, it felt like to call. Did you ever at the time think like you were rescuing me at the time?
You know that I think that is a very could potentially be a hot topic in the
Let's
adoption.
be honest, how you feel about it.
So I think there is some mentality that people go into adopting only to rescue the kid, only to rescue them. But for us, it wasn't like we were coming in to rescue you. We want to be a part of our family, but there's a little bit of that in there, right? Because in a sense, you kind of are, but I think that's where adoptions can get in trouble. They can get a little rough if people go into adoption only with the mentality of you're rescuing an orphan. You're rescuing an orphan from their situation versus we are a family. We are part of this family together. I think that can be a pretty hard.
I think that mindset can go both ways, because your biological mother, when she put you into the orphanage, she literally looked at it like an opportunity for you to be rescued from the situation that the family was living in. We didn't know that story at the time. We didn't know that story when we were working with you as a 6-year-old. We learned more about that afterwards, right? And so I think that story is two-sided. There's the side of the parent putting the child into the orphanage, looking for adoption or looking for an opportunity for their child. But then there's us, who we didn't ever want you to lose that aspect of your life. And so if I was going to rescue you out of something, then I would separate you from that totally and entirely. And we have chosen purposefully not to separate you from that, to make sure that you have kept that connection. So I would say rescue is a harsh word. I think adoption is a better word.
Well, and let's just be honest, right? Your life honestly is different than what it would be if you were still in the orphanage or if you're still in Haiti. So like you said, yeah, rescue, it's such a hard word, but is your life different? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it honestly, it is different. But we try to instill in our family that, you know, we're still connected to the orphanage. We still want to give back. We still want to do everything that we can to help because that's just who we are.
I'm curious from your perspective, your thoughts on that.
Yeah, my thoughts on that, like growing up, like, well, I was young at the time. My mind was still getting there, getting matured, like, but processing the whole situation as it is. Cause like when I first got, like my story is how I got to orphanage. Like my mom just dropped me off there, and then I felt like she was giving up on me. Like I felt like I was just being left there. And then you guys came along and I felt the invitation. I'm like, okay, this is great. This is awesome. There's a family out there that wants me, you know. And over the few years, I see my life here versus my life in Haiti and versus the ideals that my mom had to put me in the orphanage, the her reason for putting me in there. And I'm like, so like you said earlier, it is the two sides of the same coin. She knows there's a better life away from her, and you guys know you can offer a better life. So that's why. So when I grew up, and we're like, I had to like, I battled with that. It might be rescued. It's just like something to just make them feel good. But I'm like, there's still, I look at my mom because she gave me up because she knew she couldn't provide. She knew she couldn't give up. She couldn't give what she was supposed to give. She knew. So she looked for the best opportunity. She set me up like any normal parent would. They set their kids up for success, for everything. So now I'm mature. Back in the day, I didn't used to think it as it was all love. I used to think it was just like, just to make people feel good. Oh, I feel like I'm helping somebody. But now I'm like, it is two sides of the same coin, you know?
So when you were 6, 8, 10 years old in the orphanage, what did y'all think as kids? Did you look at families that came to the orphanage and say, "Oh, are you gonna adopt me?" Or were you wanting to get out?
Oh yes, like like all the time. I remember a lot of my friends, a lot of kids, myself, we've asked multiple families to adopt us. Oh, can you take us to America? We would ask that all the time. But I was like, just thinking about it, that was a really deep feeling of wanting to belong somewhere, of wanting to have a family. That really resonated with me. I think about that often. It's like, huh? Because I used to play around, like, oh, will you adopt me? Take me down. But that's like it was a need to be a part of something, to be a part of a family, because it was just us there. You know, we had nannies, we had caretakers and stuff like that, but it wasn't like that normal home type of family. It was just like more like a community. It felt like a community, nothing to separate away from that. But growing up and realizing and putting everything together, it was just love. It was just all love and acceptance. That's all it was, and an invitation to be part of the family. But it took a lot to come to that conclusion. But I do get those DMs all the time. Oh, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. You're so lucky. Like, yes, I am very lucky to be where I'm at today. But that was not the point. It was not the point. That was not the point to just, okay, we just gonna have to make sure he has a great life. You know what I'm saying? But it was all love. Because like you just talked about, you went through hardships. It was not easy. It was not easy on both sides. But yeah.
So, you know, there's a part of that is there's gratitude. We have gratitude that we're a family. We were able to add you to our family, be a part of our family. But there's also a side of grief there. I've been curious as to how you look at the gratitude and the grief and the difference between those two, and can they even coexist in your life?
Yes, because like I said, when I got dropped off, I was crying. I felt really depressed. I had severe anxiety. Like my whole world just changed when my mom dropped me off at the orphanage. I was grieving a lot. I thought I just lost everything. My one solid foundation, because at a very young age, my father died in some accident. So it was just like the only thing I had left was my brother and my mom, and she just left me there. And then that was hard. I felt like a Batman origin story, just like losing a parent, both parents, just like that. And but I had to go through all of that to know there was still love out there. To like, I feel like the child at that point, that was the lowest point for me. That could be the lowest point for anybody, because you're just losing everything at that moment, where you thought like you're being left alone, where you thought like you're just like nobody there wants you. So that was the grieving side of that. Like I felt unwanted, unneeded, like I didn't belong anywhere. And then I found that community in the orphanage, and I found out their mission, and I got closer to God in that orphanage. And they always preach about adoption at the orphanage. That's cliche. And that really taught me, like, to look at it in a different way, to be ready to ask. Like when I would ask families to take me home, or for me to be their son, like I would ask, and they keep going on to the next family. Like, no, we can't do that. Listen, where we at adopting another kid? We can. I heard that so many times. So it's just like, okay, it is what it is. You know, there's kids out here in the same situation as I am. So like whichever. So I just, at some point, I stopped asking. I just started living my life in the orphanage and just having fun. And then you guys came along, and then you guys invited me to come. So it was just from grief to joy, finding myself, and then being accepted again. Okay, now we're about to enter to our hard question, real answer segment. Are y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Y'all thought that little area was the hard part? All right, let's get into it.
Okay, I'm ready.
Here we go.
So when you adopted me, did you guys feel like the heroes? Did you guys feel like heroes?
I mean, I have to be honest and say maybe a little bit. right? But more importantly, it wasn't maybe a tiny bit, but it was more of I just wanted to expand our family. Like I just wanted to be a part of our family. I was excited to see what was going to happen. What would our family look like? I mean,
When we first got married, I had told mom that I wanted 6 kids. And after Faith and Grace and Caleb, we couldn't have any more kids. We were medically unable to have any more kids. And so I don't think I felt like a hero. I'm thinking about when we got off the airplane and we were walking through the airport. I think I felt proud. I felt proud that we were able to expand the family. I was proud that we were able to diversify the culture of our family. I was scared all at the same time, thinking, what have we gotten into? And I was scared for you too, because every experience coming off of that airplane was brand new to you. And so I think hero is a huge term. I would say I felt proud, and I'm not too prideful to say that I didn't. I felt proud that we were able to be a family.
Yeah, but like to reiterate that, feeling like a hero to your child, and like in that situation, it can go both ways. It's not a bad thing to feel like that. Like you say, proud. Being a hero is somebody that people look up to. Because I looked up to you. You guys were my heroes. You guys have been my heroes my whole life. So like I did look at you guys like that. So if you guys feel like that, you should feel like that. But like you said, you guys both said it well. Like you guys are proud of the work you guys. You guys did not know what was gonna happen. You guys did not. You guys gave up everything to get me over here. So that is like some pride you should feel. You both said it in the best way you could. I didn't think you guys gave any single wrong answers.
Well, it was a long, hard,
Yeah.
fought journey, right? I remember some of the worst times ever is I was one that spent most of the time in Haiti fighting for your adoption, going to the offices, giving your paperwork, doing all that stuff. And I hated with every ounce of me watching you cry when I left. And there was nothing we could do.
I did cry a lot.
So I mean, I like that word proud. I mean, kind of take a I tell you when I really breathed deeply was when we got on that airplane. When we got through the airport and we actually sat down, which you were hilarious because you've never seen air conditioning before. So you were like, whoa, and then touching everything and touching everybody. I think I breathed a huge sigh of like, we did it. It's over. Like it is over.
Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, so what's something you've unlearned about adoption? What's your mindset then versus now?
I thought it was going to be easier when we got you home. I mean, I thought oh, it's going to be so easy because Wilson's such a good kid, so well behaved at the orphanage, such a leader, so outgoing, and which you are. You're very much a leader and very much outgoing. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be. Yeah, learning. You had to unlearn the 10 and a half years prior to our family, and we were already in a routine. We were in a schedule. Our children were very well behaved, and then here comes Wilson, tornado, Haitian hurricane, as we called you, and we're like, oh, okay.
That was the Haitian hurricane.
You were the Haitian hurricane, yeah.
I think it's hard to say I unlearned anything because I learned in the process. There's no good manual, there's no good instruction book on how to do an adoption and how to bring somebody into your family who's not been a part of your family before. It's just something you have to experience and learn as you go. It's like on the job training that has to happen. And I think that was for all three of us. That was for you too. It was a culture change for you, being in a home setting and not in an orphanage with walls. It was a culture change for your siblings to have another sibling, especially your brother, to share a room. He had never shared a room before. And it was a change for us because you didn't come with the base of knowledge that our kids had, having been born into our family. And we could not assume that you did. And so rather than saying unlearn something, it's what did we learn? We learned how much of the process we didn't know.
Yeah. And I think, and let's just speak for anybody else out there in that, every kid's going to look different, right? I mean, I don't know that one story is going to be the same. So every kid has a different story from a different place, whether it's foster care or adoption or international adoption. I mean, you don't know. You don't know until that kid gets in your home and the dynamics and like Wilson's schooling background. I had to homeschool Wilson kindergarten material.
Okay. This question is for both of y'all. Okay. What do you say to people who tell adoptees to just be grateful? That's a hard one, huh?
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Gratefulness is something that is much deeper than just something you can be. Gratefulness is something that is learned over time. Gratefulness is something that causes you not only to be thankful, but to be joyful in whatever situation that you're coming from. To force a child by saying, just be grateful, You're forcing a heart transformation that hasn't occurred yet. The understanding as to why they should be thankful about a situation hasn't occurred yet. And so I think it's unfair to tell a child, just be grateful. They don't fully understand what they're to be grateful for, if they're even to be grateful at all.
So I have heard that before from other adopted parents, and I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. Like, I think sometimes parents just want their kid to be thankful because they pulled them out of a situation or they pulled them into their wonderful home. And I think you're exactly right. And it's like, how can you force a young kid to be grateful when they don't understand?
Yeah.
They understand gratefulness. But from the parent perspective, I've heard, parents say, but I pulled them out of that, or I rescued them, or I did that. And you got to think about where the kid comes from. For you, you were leaving a country that you've never left before. You were leaving
Climate.
Yes, a climate. You were so cold here, even though it's Texas, and you still are, right? You're leaving your family, what family that you knew. You're leaving all of your friends. You were leaving,
Language.
yeah. You barely spoke English. So put yourself in the kid's perspective. Like, what are they losing, or what are they having to change for them too? And so I think everybody has to keep that in mind. Like, where are you coming from, and work, kind of work through that.
I think before you get to gratefulness, there has to be a period of lament. You have to lament the loss of where you've come from, particularly if you're changing cultures and countries, before you can understand to be grateful where you are. And it's okay to go through a lamenting period.
Well, and that's something for parents to accept that. As a parent, you have to accept, like, I have to accept that you love your Haitian family, and I want you to love your Haitian family. I do. I want you. And I know that I didn't birth you. I mean, obviously, I didn't birth you. But it's like, I have to be secure in our relationship to know that you have love for us, you have love for your Haitian family, you have love for your Haitian siblings and Faith, Grace, and Caleb. And so as a parent, like, we have to be secure in that. We have to be secure that it's going to be okay. Kind of what you said, like, some that insecurity can get in sometime if you don't let your kid lament, if you don't let your kid work through that, if you don't let your kid.
And it's a process.
Yeah. And yeah, it could be, and for some kids, it could be years. It can be a year's process, but as a parent, you have to be secure enough as a parent, as a mom or dad, to be able to walk through that. Because if you're not secure as a parent to walk through that, then that's where I think it can get a little slippery. I think could get potentially dangerous. This is a great question. Do you ever feel pressure to perform gratitude as a child, and we're your parents? Do you ever feel pressure that you have to please us and be thankful?
I feel like I did for them. So, like, I never really. That's probably why we put it in. Because I never felt that kind of pressure. So I don't know. I don't have much to say about it, but I've always been grateful. I never felt like I owed anybody anything. I never felt like I owed them anything. But I felt grateful. I was like, as I grew up, I'm like, okay, this is awesome. This is great. This is awesome. Like, okay, like, this is great. I get to have a life now. I get to set myself in a position to provide for my family back in Haiti and my family now. It's like a how do I say? It's like a feeling of, like, when you go to the NFL, like when you're in high school, you want to play sports, you go to the NFL and you want to buy your parents a super car because they've been great parents. That's what it felt like. You know what I'm saying? So I never felt like I needed to constantly be at their beck and call all the time. It was not raising no little co-worker, no little workers. I never felt like that. But I know a lot of adoptees, person like close to me, that felt like they had to be they had to feel grateful. They had to show that they were grateful. They had to show up. They had to literally serve their parents and just be at a position that made them feel like an employee. You know what I'm saying? Just to pay off. So I can't say much about it, but that's why this podcast is here. We're going to bring on people to share their stories, because there's millions of stories like that. And hopefully they say better than me. But yeah, that's the love that's here. I've never felt that pressure.
So we've gotten an opportunity to share some of our stories through this platform. We've all been able to share just little snippets, and people who've watched and listened have only heard little snippets of our life. Mm-hmm. And it's funny how people start to form opinions without knowing the full story, or without knowing behind the scenes all of us and how we interact and love each other. But what is one thing that you would want people to know about your story or about you that they can't see?
Well, when I first came to America, I thought everybody here was rich. Let's just say that. I thought I was going to come here to just have fun and have a little field day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think, like, because like the view Haitians, like probably a lot of like transracial adoptees from different countries they think everything's better here in America, and that's was my mindset until I had to do homeschooling with this woman right here, and I'm like, oh my God, did you guys just think about that? Hey, need to do smart school? I thought we were done with that. This is paradise. And I'm like, why are you guys trying to raise me to be an upstanding citizens? It's like, it's not like that. And then I had to learn, they put me in school like every other kid. They grounded me like every other kid, whooped me like every other kid. And they were strict with grades and everything, just like all of my siblings. That's because I'm black. I did not get treated any differently, unfortunately. Like people think like I had like I get a lot of people saying like I said mentioned before, I get those DMs like they were lucky that I was been treated like a king. No, I was raised like a normal child. I was raised like a son. I was raised like a young man. Where you don't see there was a lot. It took a lot to get me to where I was today. It took a lot. We was learning on all sides, on all point of views, and there's way more trials and tribulations than you think. Like it's way harder, but there was as many times as I gave up growing up, they never did. Like they were each other's, they were the anchor for the relationship and raising me. So like I would say, yeah, that's the side you don't see, all the hard work. Because I've been here for 11 years, and a lot of things can happen in 11 years. A lot of growth, a lot of change. The person I was 5 years ago is completely different than the person I am today. And the 5 years before that, completely different. Mm-hmm. So I would say there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. There's a lot of stuff you don't see, and there's a lot of stuff you can't show unless you experience it and be ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Be ready for anything.
You're exactly right. But I had to look at you through the lens of some of the trauma that you've been through, mm-hmm. right? I had to look through a trauma lens because of some of the stuff that you've been through. And maybe we'll get into that one day if you feel comfortable. But it had to be a little different, right? Mm-hmm. Just because of the lens of where you're coming from. On some occasions, I couldn't treat you the same way that I treated Caleb because of your different backgrounds. Mm-hmm. So that's what we had to kind of work through. Like where we could push you too much and where if we are pushing too much, how we had to back off, mm-hmm. and how you had to learn things sometimes the hard way, mm-hmm. and how so it's like a little dance mm-hmm. we all had to play with lots of communication because you come from a different background, yeah. in a different situation. You don't know what some things were. So yeah. It's a dance we had to play.
Definitely a lot of dancing. But I did learn two-step along the way, so that's good too.
Yes, you did.
Of course, you bet.
I did learn two-step from you, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay, this question is for the both of y'all. What does it mean to center relationship instead of rescue in adoption? You can take time here. You can take that one.
Well, I think relationship is the key to everything in life. Period. Relationship over rescue has to be the forefront of what you're doing. It's whether or not we save a relationship between us that we continue as a family or not. And that's whether it's an adoption or not an adoption family. Relationships are the most important thing. Everything in life can go away. My dad raised me to say, everything in life can go away. You can lose your home, you can lose your money, you can lose your things. But one thing that you have to cherish is relationships, because relationships can carry you through all that. But if you lose that relationship, it could be gone. So the relationship is far more important to understand than the rescue.
I agree totally. I think if someone were to go into adoption strictly with the mindset, I'm going to rescue this child, I think that could potentially be a very slippery slope. I think it could be a slippery slope for the family and the child. So I think going in with that mentality,
it's prideful,
could potentially be very scary. So I agree. It's about building a relationship with you, building a relationship as a family. Our family dynamic changed, and our whole entire family dynamic changed. Extended family as well, right? Everything changes. So yeah, I think relationship is the foundation and not rescue. And that's the rescue mentality can potentially be very dangerous.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Okay, so that's perfect. So this is going to lead on to the next segment. This segment is called Ask Christy and Brian. The first question is for you. Okay. How can adoptive moms avoid the savior mindset even if they didn't mean to have it?
Great question. I think the best way to avoid the savior mindset is just constantly fight that. Like every day, if that pops into your mind, stop it. If that happens, just shift your mind so that way it doesn't become that. And keeping the focus on the child and what's best for your child and your family, and not necessarily you personally.
Okay, that's real. Okay, this next question is for you. What role does humility play in being an adoptive dad, especially across race?
Yeah, I think humility is the biggest role that has to be played by any dad in any situation, whether it's across race or not. Every dad wants to fix the situation. Every dad wants their family to be happy. Every dad wants their family to be comfortable. Every dad wants their family to be taken care of and provided for. And when we fail in some of those areas, or we feel insecure in some of those areas, we will react out of the weaknesses. And so we'll lose our temper, or we'll go to our vices, whatever that may be. So knowing that we don't know everything and can't fix everything going into this relationship is the safest route in, because we will fail. If we go in without the humility, thinking, oh, I can do this, I can handle this, I can take this, you're going to get hurt, because you're going to fail. Your pride's going to get hurt, and your feelings hurt. You might hurt the feelings of the family members you're involved with. Humility is the key to every relationship. We just spoke about relationships. Mm-hmm. Without humility, you cannot have the growth in relationships.
Okay, that was some good answers for both. Great little segment. That was a short little ask Christy and Brian segment, but that was great. Because we're going to close out here. We got 3 questions, so 3 topics to talk about, really. Still in the same subjects. But yeah, this is just an open question. How the save narrative can actually get in the way of real connection.
When I read this earlier, I thought about the things maybe you've heard from other adoptees.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what have you heard? And how do you feel about that?
Like I said, I have a lot of friends, a lot of adoptee friends, both from here and of course overseas. And like I've seen, like I said in the last podcast, the first part, like we fostered kids because literally society gets in the way of the family. The society gets in the way of family. Maybe we don't want this kid no more. It's too hard, too much pressure on us socially. So I've seen like they save the child and then they have to live with the child, and then boom, things changes. We actually have to take care of it. We actually have to show up. We actually have to be there. We actually have to raise this young man or young
That's
woman.
right. Because if you think about it, a hero, a Superman, goes in to rescue somebody, but then he puts them in a safe situation and he's gone.
And he's gone, yes.
There's no follow-up. There's no follow-through. So if we go into it with a rescue or a savior mindset, then we forget that all of that has to continually be followed up. That is why relationship, it has to be relationship. It's all about building that relationship. If you go in with a savior mindset or hero mindset,
and it doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to be overnight, right? It took years to get to 11 years where we are today. It doesn't happen. It takes time. It is a time and a process.
And that 11 years, when we look at it in a math way, is so short. But this last 11 years, it feels like a lifetime from the beginning to where we are today. That feels like a lifetime ago. But it's only because of the amount we've invested in relationship and in opportunities with each other.
Okay, this next one, open floor. What's your families learned, not just about adoption, but about letting go of easy answers? The easy way.
I wish I knew
it was gonna be easy.
Well, I wish I knew the easy answers.
I have no idea.
I wish.
There is no easy answer.
Yeah.
I think we've learned how to be strong in the process.
I think we have learned and are still learning that we have to talk about it, talk through the process, work through it, forgive. I think in this adoption relationship, we have to forgive each other a lot. We have to forgive each other because
we make mistakes.
We're figuring it out. I've never parented a 21-year-old black male before. So we got, we have to figure it out. Right. So
vice versa, we've never parented the age that our oldest son is, or black. So it's a new experience, no matter who you're parenting.
Well, hopefully that resonated to any of y'all out there. Message. But yeah, that will be it. We'll be closing here. But all in all, what I have to say is I wasn't just rescued. I was invited. Like the Bible calls, God goes out and brings people. He invites them to the family. Like the Bible strongly preaches, don't help those who don't want to be helped. It's there. Whenever you're ready for it, you go to it. They came up to me and asked. We've known each other months or years before y'all even asked me that question. A few months, because I remember the first year y'all came there, y'all just came as missionaries. Yeah. So like we built that relationship before then, and then they asked me that question. I was invited, and it was a call out to me, and then I answered. And it was like, like I was lost and I was found. Just like the Bible preaches, same thing. And it was all love. That's all I got to say. Any closing remarks?
Again, I'm just so proud of you for bringing this out. These are difficult things to talk about, and it stirs up things. We've seen it in the comments. It stirs up some difficult feelings in people, but these things have to be spoken.
Yeah, and I'm so proud of you too for putting yourself out there, right?
Yeah.
Like willing for us to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. And I'm proud of you. And I'm so proud of you that from where you've come to today, right? We've been through so much, and I'm so proud of you for the young man that you're becoming. And you've been through a lot. I mean, you have been through so much, and look at you.
We could do an episode on each one of your individual stories.
Oh, that's gonna be mini segments. That's actually your idea. My mom wants to bring a little mini segment where we just tell stories from our family, so you will actually get to know a lot of what went on. So that's for later, though. But that's it. That's it. Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, subscribe, and send me $1 million. Have a great day, y'all. There we go.